Okay, boys, fellas, the offensively offensive crew is here, and it's Thursday night. It's not Sunday. We got our days of the week mixed up. We got our websites mixed up, and somehow we're live on the Cyclone Fanatic YouTube channel. I guess I'm not quite sure what happened. Tom's already been on it a couple of times, but Nate and I are new to this whole thing. So, Tom, what are we even supposed to be doing?
I think we're just supposed to talk a little bit about Iowa State basketball. Nothing crazy though. Like maybe the best start in program history, just like the little stuff like that.
Yeah, nothing crazy. Just a little slight work. 15-0. Only KenPom 2. We're doing all right.
I can't wait to ask. I can't wait to ask Nate about his Waco thoughts and playing down there, and how that went when you guys went down there a couple times a few years ago.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it went good, sometimes it went bad.
So excited to be here. I think in all seriousness, as we get going, and I don't even know if anyone's listening at this point. It's really cool. I started with Wide Right Natty Light in 2015. I've been doing this for over 10 years now, which is crazy to think. Like we didn't have videos and podcasts and live streams or literally anything when I first started doing this. Like it was just satire and blog stuff, and we were not taken very seriously. And so the fact that we're able to jump online on a Thursday afternoon because people actually want to listen is really cool. And I don't know about you guys. I don't want to take it for granted. And so it's cool to be able to have a platform to do this.
You know, it is pretty unique. I mean, it's a really great opportunity for Wide Right. I think it's nice to reach new audiences and maybe just have a better platform for everybody. So, if you guys don't know who I am, I'm Nate Schuster. I don't know if anyone remembers me from playing, but I sat the bench a lot for 3 years on the Cyclones during the Prom era and phasing into the Otzelberger era. So, no, this is really fun, and it's a fun team to talk about. So this should be good.
Don't play it lightly. You won a championship.
Championship. Someone else. I got an A on the group project, as Jeff Teague would say, and I aced it. But no, it was. Yeah, we were all right that year.
Nate, who'd you play with?
So my freshman class was the Halliburton Horton Tucker Condit class. So I was
If I had heard of those, I'd be impressed, but I don't know who those guys are.
Yeah, they all played a lot.
So Nate obviously was on the basketball team for a little while. It's nice to have his insight about what actually goes on inside the locker room. Tom carries. I am just trying to be a little bit more like Tom, especially in the stash area, because that thing is looking relatively and very much bushy. It's the first time I brought up. I know you were getting.
You're 6'7", dude. You don't. You're.
I was gonna say you're the tallest person on this podcast.
Yeah.
What does that mean on a podcast, though? We're all the same height right now.
Yeah, but if we have to go play like threes against like the Russillo pod, like we got a good chance.
We're running ISOs for the former basketball player for doing that. Although Tom, you might have some game. I believe it.
A little bit.
So Tom, why don't you introduce yourself? I know you've been on a couple pods already.
Yeah, so basically I've been on the past couple After Darks post games with Baylor and West Virginia, but yeah, part of the offensive crew. We mostly just been audio. I think before the merger happened, we had 2 YouTube videos out, so you might have seen our faces a couple times. But now I guess we're big time, so we got to lock in a little bit. Actually have to know what we're talking about instead of just pretending like usual.
Quick 3 years, eh?
That's right. We finally have the equipment to pick up our terrible takes. That's what I was laughing about as I was getting set. It's like, oh, this mic is so nice. This camera's great. I love the light. But now people are actually going to hear me when I say something stupid. That's kind of the problem.
I wonder if we can get like some lore on the show, like, because there's a few things that happened in the Wide Right days that we will never do again. Like, example, the stock portfolios from last year. We're not doing that shit again. That was terrible. What else? We had a couple other crazy ones too. Like, I'm pretty sure we had some guys who have now since transferred out that we thought were going to be like all Big 12s that we're just not going to bring up. But if you go listen to the past ones, you will.
That's not Demarion Watson. Can't confirm. We were not on that train.
Yeah, we were not on that one.
Listen, they're not all winners, right? Like they're not all winners. They're not going to be. But that's not why you listen. That's not why you listen. It's because we're the voice of the common folk. We're the voices of everyone that was trying to illegally stream the game last night. Meth streams, crack streams, like you name it. We were all doing it. I hooked up. We're the illegal streaming crew, offensive line. Always happened and always.
Am I crazy or did his mic just give out?
It came out a little bit. But
See, that's why. It's first show.
keep talking. Keep talking. I think it came back.
Mine did?
Oh, yeah.
Now you're back.
No, but we heard you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's too bad.
First
No,
game
but we-
jitters, though. Get it out.
I mean, long story short, we were here for the pirating of. No, I'm not.
Long story short, here's the illegal streaming.
Yeah, that's right. So, Tom, you talked about the merger. I was laughing because I'm thinking of like a semi-pro type situation. Fourth place. That's kind of what this feels like, if I'm being honest.
Win's a win. No take backsies.
Yeah, it's like the 29-year-old guy who's been in single A for like his whole life. It's like, yeah, double A right before you retire. Like,
That's right. Although I'm 30 and very much not close to retiring. As I go to work every day, I say only 40 more years. Only 40 more years. All right. So enough about us. Oh, Sean D, by the way. Sean D, Dallin Catholic, West Des Moines, currently reside in Dallas, Texas. 6'7", baby sweet, silky jumper. And finally have great podcasting equipment for the first time in my life. Sorry, everyone. All right, enough of that. Let's talk about the game. So this show is going to happen every Thursday night for the most part. It's going to be a relatively there's going to be a core group followed by some rotating cast members, right? So Dylan's supposed to join at points. Nigel's going to join at points. We're going to have David Braga on later in the show to talk some women's hoops, of which this group is not very well versed in. So it'll be nice to learn a thing or two from him. The goal of this show is going to be hoops heavy, right? So we'll be doing this throughout the season. Whether or not you see the three of us on every single Thursday remains to be seen, right? Schedules change, but you will get some sort of show every single Thursday. Go ahead, Tom.
You said it perfectly. And going into the game, like, what were your guys' thoughts? I'll throw it back to you. Like, ugly 10-point win, like a win's a win. I think some of the statistics came out. It's the best Big 12 win as of now, the win against Baylor, because everything's kind of been kind of mediocre right now. No big upsets. But what were your guys' thoughts about the game?
I mean, just to start, anytime you shoot nearly 40% sub, 60% from the free throw line, you win by 10. You told me that before the game. I'm pretty happy, especially on the road. I think Baylor was not a team I was as afraid of as I heard other people. As I was talking to the game, like I was hearing like, oh, this feels like a trap game. This might be an issue. I wasn't ever really worried about it. I still think Baylor's a good team. I just think that Iowa State's in a different class of team. Like if you think of like the Nick Wright tiers of quarterbacks or tiers of athletes, I think Iowa State is clearly in the top three teams of college basketball, and I think that shouldn't be enough to carry them to a road win in most places.
It was funny watching this game because as we stunk our way through the first half, that's very true about free throws. As we stunk our way through the first half, I don't know if you guys were like this. I wasn't really that worried because I was like, if we're both going to muck this game up, I never felt like at any point like Baylor was the worst team at that time. You know what I mean? Like it was one of the rare times I feel like in the last maybe 25 years where Baylor typically is the one that gets the high level recruits. And on paper, you might say they're more talented year over year, not necessarily referring to total team success. In this case, neither of those things were true. So I was like, if we're both going to stink, like we're going to stink just a little bit less.
Yeah. I mean, first half down by 6, down by 8. All of a sudden, Jefferson makes that deep three and we're up by 1 going into the locker room and we played atrocious. And then, I mean, I talked about it a little bit on the show last night was Jefferson in the first half, like, did the work. He had a double-double in the first half. Like, who does that? And second half, he was still carrying a little bit, but then Taman took over because he was clearly in foul trouble in the first half, played under, like, 3 minutes of game action, which is insane. And both those fouls, like the first one, he did have the hand on the guy. It is what it is. Second foul was unbelievably bad. But he comes in, and I talk about, like, as the point guard, you're supposed to be running things. You got to be in mojo. You got to be, like, understanding the rhythm of the game. His rhythm is out immediately. And then when he comes back, he plays well in the first half, but then it's halftime. He loses his rhythm again. So to have that happen in the first 20 minutes of game action, come back in the second half and deliver a great outing, like time after time with his passes, his layups, his threes at one point, like just the leadership that we saw from Jefferson and Taman late in the game. Like that's the reason we won by 10. That's a game I would say in the Hoiberg era, like I think we don't win. I don't think the physicality we can hold up with. And though we did have great guard play, and obviously we had Niang down low, very similar to Jefferson in the aspect of being able to get his own. Like I just don't think those teams could have brought the same physicality and toughness, especially when the shots weren't falling with those tight rims, that this team did.
What about a Steve Prom coach team?
Well, I throw it over to Nate there.
No comment. I think so. I think when you think about like how you guys both hit on an interesting point. When you think of how the team plays and how the teams played under the Otts era, we kind of played this like drag you down in the mud, beat you up 55-49, right? Now it feels like this year we kind of have the guns where we could go beat, like we played Illinois a couple of years in the tournament. Like this team feels like it could beat that Illinois team. Like I think that helps on the road. And when we have a game like this where we're going to shoot like crap and they're going to shoot like crap, I like us because our guns are, like you said, Sean, they're better guns now. So that's nice to have. And I think it's something we got to take advantage of.
Yeah, I think the messaging from this game, and Tom, I'll credit to you because for the 2 years we've been podcasting, I think we've all agreed that this is the case. Success in March is all about building your resume for the moment, right? And this is an example of stacking a win in which you don't have your best. You are not playing at your A game, but you're finding a way despite of poor performance. Like those rims, I tweeted last night. I was like, it looks like the double rims that you play on at the park. And it honestly, it looked like that because it wasn't just Iowa State, it was Baylor too. It was like the janitor like rolled the hoops out and then like went to twist on the rims. And then like someone started talking to him and he just kept doing this. And then he did it again on the other side. And really he should have done it like 2 less times.
Yeah, that's what Eric Steyer said that at the game. He was there last night. That's what he said too. He was like, these are the tightest rims I've ever seen in my life.
There was a shot, Buchanan down low, just easy hook shot, should have gone in and just spins out. Unreal.
Yeah,
I mean, most of the misses were like hard misses. That was the problem. It wasn't like you didn't see like the rim bend and then a gentle kiss against the glass and someone goes up and grabs it. It was like
sometimes with that, I wonder if the ball was too inflated too. Like, you can get that kind of like you could get a too tight rim and an overinflated ball, and then it's like it exaggerates both. So maybe that could be new arena too. So maybe has been worn in enough.
Could be. What did you guys think of the officiating last night? It was a sloppy game overall.
I thought it was fine. I'm a big Doug Sermons guy. I think he's one of the best. I think on Kim Palm he's rated number 12. He gets a ton of Big 12 and Iowa State games. It was a very tough game to officiate. Like the Taman fouls in the first 2 minutes, both of those were like the first one, he had a hand on him when he went up into shooting form. Like it's going to be called, unfortunately. Second one, that was tough. Then there was a couple early fouls that I'm like, the refs are kind of trying to set a precedent here, which I like with the physical game. You want the teams and the coaching staff to understand how to play. But like they were somewhat consistent. I'll go back to the point. It was a very tough game to officiate. Like I would not want to be wearing the stripes in Waco last night.
I would always prefer the players to play versus calls to be called. So like I see nearly a 50 foul count, and that doesn't that's never fun to watch. So like you could just tell you got 8 fouls at the 12-minute mark of the first half. That's probably not just the refs.
I mean, I agree with you, Tom. I didn't really have any issues with it. There was a couple iffy calls that but I was texting Bud the other night and I was like, like the calls are the calls, and they're not going to get all of them right, but I feel like they were consistent. Like the three in particular that blew my mind that people were complaining about were when Jefferson and Milan on multiple occasions would back their guy down, and then the guy would set his feet, take it in the chest, and fall down. I'm like, I don't like that's a foul. Like the guy was set, you ran into him twice, and then on the third time, the guy was smart enough to fall over after you did it. So I didn't. That one to me was crazy that we saw people complaining about that one online as a whole. The problem is that like when the ball isn't going in the basket and things are being mucked up around the rim and they're calling fouls, like you have a tendency to kind of tense up and feel like that the game is in a worse place than it could be because the basketball itself was not good.
I like that commenter just said about Tony Padilla making calls on the other end, like not in his spot. I don't remember Tony doing that. Perhaps he did, but that is one of my biggest pet peeves. When a referee like makes a call, that's not his call to make. Like the guy in the correct spot didn't make the call. He obviously saw something. Now there are situations where you have a better glimpse at something with the perfect angle, but there's a reason those three referees are in those spots. They do the training, they do the walkthroughs, they do those games in D3 and D2 and JUCO. Like they understand what spot they're supposed to be in. So that's my biggest pet peeve right there is like, you're in the spot, let him make the call. Obviously, you see something right away, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Yeah, that's like the pass interference from the back judge. Like, just drives you nuts. Like, yeah, the worst.
Well, speaking as a former intramural ref, I'm just saying that sometimes you need to make up for the person that's across the floor from you. I did ref with a lot of people that did not know basketball very well and were just doing it because they needed a job. And let me tell you, sometimes you got to blow the whistle because someone's missing something on the other side of the floor.
That's fair. That's fair.
We got a conundrum though, because it's either Padilla sucks or Sermons sucks, and we got Tom saying Sermons is good. So
big Sermons guy. I'm big Sermons guy. I think it's because he does really well talking. He's like Roger Ayers, who does a lot of ACC games. They talk really well to players and to coaches. Tony Padilla, if we remember with Keyshawn, doesn't exactly talk well to players and coaches. Does not let a lot of things go by. Sermons and Ayers, they're fine with getting screamed at because they understand. And I think Tony's also top 10 via KenPom. I would love to know what goes into that. But I do know last night's like 3-man crew was a top 12. Like all three of them were inside the top 12.
Hey, we could probably look this up pretty quick, but I'm also curious because how do you determine if what determines a positive or negative like ref rating? Because you can't quantify, like, is it just number of fouls? Because that wouldn't be right either.
You gotta watch the game. Like that's got to be one of the main. Like,
is it like the MLB ref scorecard where they say like, this ref had a 99% accuracy and he didn't give up any runs for either side? You see those graphics every now and then.
Yeah.
That seems.
Yeah, Houston. I don't know. That's going to be the way that it is forever, right? Houston is always going to be the exception to any kind of offensive rule. I thought they played decent against Texas Tech. Obviously, their freshman point guard Flemings he's a baller. He looks like he's 12. Like if you look at his face, you're like, holy smokes! Like this guy is not in college, and then he's like 17 or 18 years old. Did you guys catch any of that last night?
Yeah, Flemings played great down low, but it's against Texas Tech's defense that is a little bit shaky, I would say, to be polite. And I would just like to see those two freshmen go against Torre and just our level of defense because they got to go 2 aims. This isn't going to be a home game for them. And that's one of the big things I love about our defense is when you're bringing on freshmen or guys that are coming up from a level, they're not used to the physicality. They're not used to letting these calls go, just used to it for 40 minutes. Like, that's what I like to see. So I'm a little more interested to see how Flemings could do against us.
I'm really disappointed at how Texas Tech has played this year compared to how we scouted them to start the year. Like, I think they're probably the biggest letdown in the Big 12 so far, like compared to like where we thought they would be. Because I thought they'd be like top 3, top 4. I don't think they will be.
I mean, they beat Duke. Like, they looked great against them. I think that was Christmas break. But then, like, some other games, they just don't look like competitive at all. Like Purdue
game was rough.
It was insane. Like,
And then
they
knowing that
just
we beat
didn't-
Purdue by
yeah.
30, so like, transitive property, we're better than Tech by 60. So
That's a good point.
I mean, I will say in defense of them, they're only losing to teams that they should potentially lose to.
they're losing the lose games.
Yeah, like you know what I mean? And then they stole the one against Duke. So you could make an argument that like Illinois, Purdue, and Houston are all better than Texas Tech. Like just straight up. Arkansas, iffy. They're still pretty good. And then obviously that Duke comeback win is the fact that was considered a better win at the time. Someone was like, it was probably Goodman who's like, that's the best win that we've seen all year. It's like,
As we beat Purdue.
as we beat the number one ranked team in the country on their own floor by 20, the worst margin of defeat by a number one team in their own place in the history of college basketball. And he's like, actually, I really like Tech over Duke. They came back from down 16. Well,
He's
Jeff,
a Hoosier.
we were up 20 the entire time. So like,
He's a Hoosier too. He should hate Purdue.
I don't know. But I don't know if it's Goodman, just to be fair. Like, I just feel like it seems like a field of 68 type of thing to say.
I'm leaning into
Did
it.
Arkansas beat Texas Tech?
Arkansas beat Texas Tech.
So Arkansas, they have an okay post game. Forgetting their center right now at the moment, but all those guys that beat Texas Tech, they had good post play. Clough, Coffin Wren,
Brazil.
Yeah, they're light.
Brazil.
post-defense.
Yeah, like those guys are very good down low. Houston Tugler, like he gave Toppin fits. Toppin made a couple good shots. Don't get me wrong, and like Duke, like Boozer is labeled as a big man, but he's not a center. Like he will be a power forward in the league. You can tell like some possessions down low, he doesn't feel too comfortable down there. So there might be a blueprint of you have the big guy where you don't have to double and you can hold your own against Toppin. He's gonna go over that right shoulder probably 40 times a game.
But
Forty times
if
a lot,
it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
It's true.
His teammates would absolutely kill him if he shot 40 hook shots in a game.
Texas Tech, like we made the point, they're losing the games that they're like quote unquote supposed to lose. Right now, they just feel like make it to the Sweet 16 team as a 3 and lose to the 2 because that's kind of how it's going.
It just kind of feels like a meh. Like,
So thinking back to this game, right? I don't know if you guys saw this. I don't remember who tweeted it. Maybe it was Ryan Hammer. He's like, be this body type and like profit. And it was like Yaxel Wenderberg and it was Jefferson and it was Boozer. It was, I can't remember who else was in there, but they're all draft picks. DeBonta maybe. And it got me thinking because in the Slack last night, I think I was the one that said this. I'll go on record as saying this and then I'll talk it through why I feel this is this way. Olds, cover your ears. Joshua Jefferson is better than Marcus Fizer.
Continue. Explain. So
I will say this with a massive caveat. Jefferson has not won anything. So that matters. And this will be judged. His judgment day will come at the end of his career. So I say that knowing full well. When you look at the body of work and the type of players that we have, obviously it's difficult to compare error-wise because Fizer's taking mid-range jumpers and not really handling the ball. Jefferson is the most skilled big man we've ever had, more so than Royce, yes. Because Jefferson can also shoot. Royce could not do that. I think that's the only thing that's keeping him from this conversation. He's a first-team All-American right now. I don't know what else you can ask for, right? Like if the season ended today, he would be a Naismith finalist. So Fizer is probably the best single season player in Iowa State history to this point. And I don't know if that's super debatable, but Jefferson is running away with my mind right now. But we have to win, right? Like if we flame out in the Big 12 tournament and then lose in the second round, like no one is ever going to be having this conversation, I don't think. Because people are going to be so thoughtful about, hey, this team caused a lot of pain towards the end of the year, and Jefferson is part of that. So Jefferson does look better than Fizer. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's like a crazy scorching hot take, and I would welcome anyone else to come up with an opinion on it. I think from a skill set perspective, he's too unique. We just haven't seen this in Iowa State history.
I'm kind of in the same point. Last night's show, Levi was kind of giving a couple people of who I thought was better, and I kind of got down to the point where it comes down to accolades at the end of the day. Like Niang and Monte won the big games when, like, for the Big 12 tournament, they each made 2 Sweet 16s. Like, those are some big games being played. Pfizer made an Elite Eight, won a tournament as well with the Big 12, or I guess it might have been the Big 8 at that time. No, it was the Big 12. But yeah, Jefferson, like, we gotta see it, and I don't want that to come off like as like disrespectful at all. Like, your stats aren't gonna matter anymore. Like, we've seen what you can do. Now you got to show it in the postseason. But like, we're kind of at like a little of a standstill right now.
So I think Sci-Fan was saying
that might be a crazy take, Sean.
Oh no,
I'm looking at the accolades for Pfizer.
Come on.
So, all right, I'm just going to go on career stats. All right, career stats, career accolades. All right, doing the Bill Simmons thing. I love Jefferson, so don't get me wrong. Like, I think Jefferson's the best big man we've had since Niang, and I don't think that's a crazy take. I think he's Niang level. I think he'll be a first-round draft pick. I think he's going to have a great career. But he is he's averaging under 10 points for his career. Granted, he's played 4 years, so Pfizer played 3. He is averaging 17.6 this year. Pfizer's junior year, he averaged 22.8. Averaged 18 as a sophomore, 15 as a freshman. So all of those are higher than 9.6. Now, granted, his is all being weighed down because of a 2.2 freshman year, but it's tough to say, Big 12 Player of the Year, Big 12 Tournament MVP, consensus All-American, 3-time All-Big 12 is worse than Joshua Jefferson. No disrespect to Joshua Jefferson. I just think that's tough to say right now.
I love
if he makes a Final Four or wins a national title, book it. Stamp him right there. I'm with you all the way. But right now, it's tough to say that.
What if first team All-American lose?
Yeah, adds the first team All-American, like you said. Like, if you get the first team All-American, all Big 12,
Big 12 player of the
finalist for Malone Award or whatever the Power Forward Award is now. Like,
Malone.
Yeah. Now we got a real conversation. Like, but you got to talk at the end though. But I do like that you're planting the seeds. It's fun. So
no. Yeah. And honestly, if someone felt strongly about it the other way, like, I would gladly listen. Like, this is not supposed to be this is it, right? I like the idea that we're having a conversation about it because that means that he's been that good.
Yeah, that means it's a respectful take. So. Like, this is. I don't think Jefferson will ever hear this. If he's tuning in right now, shout out. But this is like no disrespect at all. This is, you're in this conversation is like a crazy amount of respect.
Yeah. Well said, Jason. I think that's the takeaway. The fact that we can have the conversation is great. Era is tough. And the fact that we're comparing from 25, the fact that the game has changed so much in 25 years is also crazy to me. So I don't know. The fact that we have had such a different look on what college basketball actually looks like is wild. Season end say, does Jefferson beat DeBonsa for Big 12 Player of the Year?
Standings dependent.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tight.
Which it's whoever's team wins. It's going to be one of those things. Like, I think 2019 we had Dedrick Lawson and Jared Culver, and I thought Lawson was better than Culver, but Culver had a really good last game of the year, and they end up winning conference and breaking the streak. So that, I think it comes down to standings for some of that stuff.
And you've got
AJ's averaging 23 a game with 4 assists and 7 rebounds, and he's shooting 35% from deep and 58 from the field.
Yeah, almost 60% from the field.
And if you watch like the highlights from the game, it's not like he's just making shots like they would in the 60s. He is cooking players.
Yeah, he's working for him too.
Yeah. Now
he's a crazy athlete.
It's the same. It is a very close debate because I think the talent around both players is very well equipped for each of those guys to win the award.
He's wild because he'll get the ball in the wing. His first step, like, you're dead as soon as he decides that he's trying to get past you. It's wild.
It looks like you're watching like Slenderman. Like
Well,
it's
it's no
insane.
Eric Mulder wingspan, but it is pretty nice. I'll admit. That. So I had to get one out there.
Mulder. I think the question we should be asking is, if the season ends today, does Mulder beat out Debanza for Big 12 Player of the Year?
If he gets off this injury report, gosh, if he was just healthy, who would know?
What did he sprain? His never mind.
No idea.
Speaking of bigs, I think Plata's been playing pretty good. He's been a pleasant surprise off the bench.
He learned. I said this yesterday. He learned to tap out the ball and not to grab the rebound and bring it down, and then they would just strip the ball away from him because he's not that strong yet. He'll learn. He's a freshman from overseas, like it's gonna happen. But the ability to tap it out, controlled taps, I love it. Just do that. Perfectly fine with that.
I feel like we're entering takeoff.
Yeah. So if you learn one thing about Plata, it's like, oh yeah, he taps out rebounds now. That's excellent analysis, Tom. That's why we're here. We're getting better.
Dude, that is the best part of his game right now. Like have the ability to control the boards as a freshman from overseas. Like by control the boards, I mean 2 tap outs a game. So
I think he's been really good defensively. Like I don't think we lose too much with him defensively as a big. Like even in I don't know what his plus minus was last night, but I wouldn't think it would be too crazy.
He's getting good at moving his feet too.
Yeah, he's been fine walling up. And the other guy I thought did a really good wall up was Bateman in the second half. I thought he gave really good minutes in the second half. I think he is only going to demand more and more minutes as this season goes along. I think we're going to be looking at a Heisey, Nelson maybe getting some minutes eaten away by him because I thought he's been looking pretty good. Shots will eventually fall. I mean, he went 0 for 2 last night, but eventually they'll start going in.
Let's talk a little Nelson. What are you guys' thoughts on him?
You first, Nate.
Free throws, man. You're so good in transition. Just make the free throws. It's
great at ball handling too. He would be awesome late in the game if he could make free throws.
I think there's a reason. I know he's been hurt, I guess. I think that our rotation is our rotation at this point. I have a hard time thinking that we're gonna see him play more than 8 minutes a game at this point. There's just not with the minutes, the way that the minutes line up with the Lipsy, Torre, Heisey, and Bateman. I just don't really feel like he is gonna be able to slide in there and steal anyone's minutes at this point. Really the question should be is Bateman getting worse or is Bateman getting better? That's going to be your key if Dominic Nelson plays more. Because what is Nelson doing that a combination of those guys isn't already? And you would say he's getting to the foul line, which agree. I'm sure the numbers would back up that he's one of the better on the team in terms of efficiency to do so. But defensively, Tom, even last night you were saying he gets in and he just gets cooked.
The first 2 possessions, he not only got beat, but got beat to the right side. The dominant hand of the ball handlers that he was guarding. That's odds defense 101. You got to wall up and at least force him left a little bit or force him to a help defender. That was brutal. But I will say the next 2 possessions, he got open on fast break, couldn't control the pass, dropped out of bounds, and then got to the free throw line a couple times after that. I'm in the same boat as you guys. I don't think his minutes are going to get any more than they are right now. And I think there's a chance with Bateman and if Heisey continues to play like this, that they're going to drop even more. But if he's coming back from that groin injury, it makes sense why he's a little slow on defense. I guess I get that. He would need a game or 2 more, but guess what? We're in Big 12 play now. We really don't have a game or 2 to spare to throw in some minutes. Now, if we blow out Oklahoma State on Saturday, sure. But Heisey played fantastic. He was my 3rd favorite player behind Jefferson and Taman from last night. 6 and 6. He had that awesome touchdown pass late in the game. And in my opinion, he was playing like a quarterback, not because of the way, he's shooting or passing, but the way he was just reading cuts, the way he was getting rebounds, boxing out and then also jumping. That was a problem a little bit in the game where some guys would box out and they just wouldn't jump at all. He got used to that in the second half after struggling a little bit in the first half. He was my 3rd favorite player from that game.
there was a really good play with Bateman and Heisey, where Bateman drove the lane, realized there's three guys. Heisey cuts right off his butt, ends up getting blocked by Carr. But I thought it was a really it was a nice creative play that will eventually work if you don't have 6'8" with probably a 7-foot wingspan guarding Heisey. But like that creativity with your bench guys, the fact that they're comfortable playing together, like that's only going to breed confidence. And a guy like Bateman, like I think he should play more with his shooting ability. But yeah, those guys have to be good because we will have more games like where we will have foul trouble. What do you guys think about Toure?
Just one more point with Heisey. When Bateman went on his own 6-0 run against West Virginia, he had a pump fake in the corner, drove, perfect pass to who? Heisey down low. Maybe we've seen it past two games. They always have weird minutes because they're both kind of shooting guards coming off the bench, but they look like they have a pretty nice chemistry right now, those two guys, which is kind of crazy, senior, freshman, but those two games, it's not a lot of evidence, but at least some. Those guys played very well together.
I would gamble.
Heisey's the best cutter on the team by a wide margin, so that's not surprising.
But that says a lot with a guy like Buchanan on your team too, because I think Buchanan's a really good cutter for a big. But I think it also those two guys are probably the bench guards in practice, probably going against the starters. They have probably imagine having to go against our defense every day in practice. That sounds really fun. Yeah, fun. You got Toure and Lipsy on you going 94. Great. So yeah, you're gonna have to be able to cut. So that's only gonna be a positive for your team. So I like that.
Let's play a quick game. Let's play a quick trivia game, and we did this a couple of weeks ago. Let's play plus minus. Okay. Who do you guys think had the best plus minus last night?
I think it's Taman.
Toure.
Because the foul trouble, I think it's Taman. Because really the only time he was in was, I guess 8 minutes in the first half. But second half, he played awesome. So I'm going Taman.
Nate?
Toure.
The answer is Toure, 18. Second, we had Jefferson at 11. Lipsy was third at 9. Milan 7, and then Dom Nelson 4. We're talking about Plata's plus minus. I pulled it up. That's why I got on this tangent, but his was 2. But I would argue he wasn't in for long enough where it was going to be anything less than 5.
As long as he's not a -6 off the bench, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, Bateman and Buchanan both had -1s. But Buchanan, first game we've really seen from Buchanan where you're this is just not the style, right? I wanted Plata in there to bang with Najee more so than I wanted Buchanan. It just didn't feel like he was comfortable, and that's fine. That's what you have depth pieces for in the first place. That was a Heisey game the entire way. You spit out your 7th guy and say switch everything, stay in front of your guy, and then make your open threes when you have the opportunity. If Heisey is your 7th best player, that's a Final Four team. And I just
to your point with kind of having a game like Heisey did, I think not to get to Oklahoma State because I want to get to Toure in this game, but I think Dom Nelson might have a part to play in the Oklahoma State game. They average 90 a game. They get out and run. If he is back to his self, he is very good in transition. And if he can wall up a little bit, I think he might have a little role to play. Now, that doesn't mean 20 minutes a game, but something to watch.
Yeah. That is interesting. That's a play. I mean, they'll get up and down. That'll be a fun play. It should be a fun game. But
yeah, they're what, fourth in tempo, right?
Sheesh.
So Steve Lutz was made famous at what I think it was A&M Corpus Christi, because I think I did the Oklahoma State preview last year, the year prior. Newer coach, still trying to bring his guys in. I think the name to watch for Oklahoma State is Anthony Roy. If you guys will remember early in the year when all those televised exhibition games were happening, I think he detonated on Auburn before we knew that Auburn was bad at their own place, and they ended up, I think, beating them, which is interesting. They also have Victorious Miller, which is a crazy, crazy name. Jalen Curry, not to be confused with Steph, Christian Coleman, Kanye Clary, and then Parcel Fala.
Yeah, Fala is the Oregon State transfer. He's their big man. They kind of just run through him, kind of how we do with Jefferson. He can't really handle the ball as well as Jefferson does, but he is very good down low, just creating for others. And that's when they're not running in transition. That's the 1-2 punch you're kind of going to see. And they don't shoot the ball well. I had it written down 34% from deep, but they shoot a lot of them. And a lot of them come in transition where, guess what? There isn't really a hand in your face. So sometimes they might be going in, sometimes they might not. It's, in my opinion, I think it's a trap spot. 2-0 in conference, best start in program history. You're playing at the Fog on Tuesday, and now you're going back home to Ames, Oklahoma State, no number next to them. When I think they're pretty decent. They got some good wins. They beat Texas A&M, South Florida, who plays a very fast tempo. They beat them. They won at Northwestern. They beat UCF. Those are solid wins. Now they didn't show well against Tech at all, but I think they're not dangerous. But I think just keep an eye on them. Get out to a fast start. If you have a slow start against a fast-paced team, it's going to be tough to not just come back from, but to control that game. Now it is in Hilton, so I do feel super confident, but just keep an eye on it. Don't let it just kind of float by.
I mean, the only thing I'll say is that like you said, they don't shoot it extraordinarily well, and they're not exactly an elite defensive team. So my question for you is, what's one thing that they do better than maybe something we would do? And if the answer is get up and down, that's it.
But if they get up and down, it just goes to more possessions for us. More possessions for Iowa State. More shooting for Bateman. More shooting for Milan.
Yeah, so this is isn't it the age-old question? If you're a lesser talented team, don't you want fewer possessions because you're trying to maximize them? And if you're the more talented team, you want more possessions because in theory, your talent will outweigh the amount of possessions that each team has, right? So
yeah, law of large numbers, right?
Right.
It's only going to be if you think that playing up tempo against Iowa State and can bank on the fact that Iowa State's never going to make a shot and have a set defense, that's going to go bad for you. We will make baskets at some point. That's why this offense is, what are we in the country right now? Ninth in offense, second in defense.
Oh, sorry. 9th offense, 2nd defense. Yeah.
Yeah. Really? You're going to outscore us?
You sure about that?
Yeah.
You sure about that?
Right. Good luck with that.
They're you look at the stats to back them up because they are 13-2, but 75% from the free throw line. They average 12 turnovers a game. That's a recipe that does not work well for us anyways.
I think my counter to them, they haven't played anyone. So I will read through their schedule really fast. So Oral Roberts, A&M, Prairie View A&M Corpus Christi, South Florida, Nichols, Northwestern, Sam Houston State, Grand Canyon, lost to Oklahoma, Kansas City, Cal State Fullerton, Bethune-Cookman, lost to Texas Tech, beat UCF.
They're not really beating those teams by a lot either. Cal State Fullerton by 5. You're giving up 89 points to Cal State Fullerton. You're giving up 79 points to Kansas City, 78 to Grand Canyon, 83 to Sam Houston. Those are teams. If Iowa State played them and you saw that we won by less than 30, that's a loss to us. That should be our expectation, I would think. If we got those teams in the preseason, we should beat those teams by 30.
Older teams that they beat as well, A&M plays fast, South Florida plays insanely fast, Northwestern's somewhat fast, UCF is fast. They're beating all these teams because they get to play their game without any hesitations, without any stoppages. Iowa State, it's going to be a bit different. We can play fast if we want to, but we can play in so many different ways. We can dictate the game, especially at home.
Yeah, this might be
I disagree.
Out talent.
Sorry, I was saying, Tom, I don't think this is a trap game at all.
Well, I think it's more of a trap game for the spot. And by the terms of trap, if I can clarify.
How about we borrow from the solid football? It's a letdown look ahead spot.
Yeah. I think if we win by 10 or more, because how we mentioned the Baylor game, maybe a Hoiberg team doesn't win that by 10, maybe they don't even win at all. I think if we win by 10 or more, you can build on the saying that this team is special. It's not like last year's team. It's not like 2024 because This is a fast-paced tempo coming in on a Saturday. You play in the fog on Tuesday. Like, it is what it is. But if you come out, you beat them harshly, you win by 10, 15 plus, like, it just builds to the resume of this team is different. This team isn't like the past 2 years. And I think that's somewhat to look forward to. It's also like how we play as well. Because I'm very excited because I mentioned we could get some Dom Nelson run. Bateman and Height, like, they have a lot of guards and they play fast. You're going to assume our guards are going to pick up fouls eventually with how many possessions are going to be. So we get the opportunity to see how Bateman, Dom, Heisey, Torre, how they all play.
Is it weird that we play Oklahoma State twice in January?
Yes,
That's
that is very
kind of
weird.
bizarre. We play them on Saturday, and then we play them again on the 24th. So we're done with them before January is even over. Why couldn't we have sandwiched Oklahoma State in the middle of our hell run at the end of the season? But if you want to talk trap games, well, I mean, I would say like I was going to say at TCU on February 10th, you go Baylor at home, at TCU, then Kansas at home, Houston. That's what kicks off that brutal stretch. Like, that to me could be a trap game.
At Utah is the trap game to me.
No. They're cheeks.
They're bad.
They're cheeks.
If that's a tough stretch though, like you're going Kansas, Houston, BYU, at Utah, then you get Tech, and then Arizona. Like, that's a lot.
I get this. I get the sentiment. They're
Only from the human energy standpoint of it, not from their talent. Like, if they're exhausted in the middle of February, like, because you're going to be worn down. But
That's like, I'm a little bit of both because I don't think it is it is a look at spot, not really a trap game, like I said before. But the pace that they play, like, Jefferson's going to get sped up a little bit. Like, he might have a couple more turnovers than he usually does. But it is, and the students won't be there. But I think it's great. We play them twice in January because if we had to play that fast of a tempo, and especially if it's at their place at the end of February, like, it would be a little more dangerous.
I got something for you guys. Hypothetically, all right, so we scored 70 points last game. We got Oklahoma State at home. Do you think we will score more than 10 points with the combination of these four players, Nate Heisey, Bateman, Milan, and Buchanan? Do you think we will score more than 10 points with that group of four guys?
yeah.
Yes. We scored 10 with them against Baylor.
Yeah, I mean, I would be
Like,
shocked.
we should probably get 30 to 35 out of them, especially in a game like this.
80 to 70 feels like a reasonable number for this game. Like, I think Ken Palm says it's 91 to 71, a full 20 points, which sure.
I think that's reasonable, actually, with how much, like, they're averaging 13 turnovers with that schedule. Imagine what they're going to see with us on the road. Like,
Yeah. And I wonder too, like, if you shrunk that's adjusted for Ken Palm adjusts for possessions, doesn't it? Because they're still turning it over at a super high rate, regardless of how many possessions they have. Like, they're averaging 13, but
it's nearly 14, right? Like,
their turnover percentage is 17%. So that's 145th best.
what's our turnover percentage on defense?
It's
like 25%, right? Like,
it's
like
crazy.
That's not a good number for you're already at 17. Like, against Corpus Christi and Nichols.
Nickel, just a guy.
No,
Hey,
like
Nickel.
five, like just they played against just a bunch of 5-cent coins, like just.
So we're all in agreement. We're gonna win by 10 plus on Saturday.
I like 91-71.
Perfect. Well, I think that's a really good segue. I think David's here to talk some women's basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey guys,
David,
Dude.
how's it going?
what's up?
Not
Cheers
much.
up
How are
after
you?
the Cincy game.
Oh God, I don't know if I can. Yeah, I just women's basketball. It's been an interesting spot. You have the 14-0 start. You know, it's very similar to the guys. You have, you know, your best start, tied for your best start ever, and you immediately go out and lose to Baylor, and that's a physical game, kind of like the men's game. I mean, that's always Baylor always gives us fits. Specifically, Addie Brown, who dealing with a back injury after that game, which definitely didn't help in the Cincy game, but that should still be a game that you win anyway. But yeah, that's always a fit, Baylor. I mean it's always rough playing Baylor, and it's always a close game, and it was again at Hilton. I thought the crowd was great. I was there. Hilton always, I said it on game day that was Hilton's always an 11 out of 10. I felt like it was maybe even a 12 out of 10 against Baylor, and just wasn't enough. Didn't get that last shot up, but they gave us a couple looks that we hadn't seen with Audie Crooks. They doubled her and left Jada Williams wide open, gave her the freshman Taman Lipsy treatment. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Oh yeah,
defender sitting at the free throw line or in the low block almost, just letting Jada shoot. She went 6 of 17 on threes.
She took 17 threes.
17 threes, and I don't have an official stat on this. I'd say 15 of them were probably warm-up threes. So, I mean, that's not exactly the person you want shooting them. Jada's about a 25-30% three-point shooter.
So I watched 33. That game.
Yeah, no,
I was able to watch that game. Jada went to the locker room. Do you think that played a factor at all?
She
like
went
with confidence
early.
Maybe, but like 17 threes is crazy.
Yeah. She went to the locker room pretty early, and I think Fennelly kind of mentioned it in the post game that he almost wanted her to shoot more. I think she was just a little hesitant to shoot that many. Like, I'm not the one that's supposed to be shooting 17 threes a game.
Yep.
So I think that definitely played a part in it. I also just, Nate, I'll kind of defer to you to this on coaching, but like how much of that then comes to coaching when you've got a 4-on-3 on the perimeter and you've got 4 people that are 40+% 3-point shooters, and you're having the one that's a 27%er shoot all of them. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, other than telling her like, hey, maybe don't shoot it. Like, I don't know what you do. Like, I think the conversation can just be as simple as that.
Right.
Whether or not the player listens is another thing. Like, you could get the Dion Waiters treatment, which I'm sure he's looking at the stat line like,
I mentally too, though. And you guys tell me.
Yeah, like at some point you're like, God, this is going like shit. Like,
yeah.
Well, so you're being left open with such intent that like mentally you're like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't be shooting this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Like their strategy is for me to have the ball in my hands as much as possible and to just chuck. And they do not believe I can hit it. And 33% sounds like she was above her average. So in some ways it was a win. But Baylor's playing the odds because Audie's shooting 60% from the lane, right? Or something like that. Something ungodly. So David, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, to Jada's credit, she was 6 of 17. The rest of the team was 3 for 14. So, I mean, it's not like.
Yeah, I guess she was better than the rest of the team.
Right. And, you got, Addie Brown, like I said, she's played Baylor 5 times in her career. Twice as a freshman, twice as a sophomore, now once as a junior. She's scored double figures in one of those 5. So Baylor is very much keyed in on Addie Brown. They're kind of willing to let Audie kind of be Audie at times, and they kind of flipped it up on Sunday. And Addie, 1 for 7 from the floor, 0 for 1. And again, I think she's had this back issue, I think, for longer than just the Cincinnati game and just the Baylor game, because she looked a little hobbled and a little slower in the second half against Houston. So, you play a physical team like Baylor immediately after that, and you're not 100%, you're kind of asking to miss the next game, which she did. And that was, we'll get to that one in a minute. But yeah, I mean, Jada and Audie combined for 54 of the 70. And Fennelly said after the game, you're not going to win playing 2-on-5. And I tend to agree with that.
I think he's got a good point there, but then I would go back at Finley. Like, I have some questions for you. Like, why was Audie in on the last Baylor offensive possession? Because that clip from the Cincy game's going around. She's not really playing the best defense.
Correct.
And I think we all knew that before the Baylor game. And he said in the post game that it was for the rebounding purposes. But at that point in the game, I think if you're more worried about not that offensive possession, but the rebounding taking place after, your mindset's in the wrong spot.
Yeah. So my whole thought process with that was the shot clock was off at that point. Baylor had the last possession of the game. So you're playing like you're not going to get another chance, in my opinion. Now, Baylor ended up taking a shot with 3 seconds left and making it. But to me, you're playing like Baylor's going to shoot that thing at the buzzer and you're not going to get a chance for a rebound. So I would tend to agree why was Audie in the game at that point, because if they do make it, you still get a chance for the timeout. And if they miss it, you rebound and you still get a chance for the timeout anyway. So I don't know. That was kind of a confusing thing for me too. I didn't really know what was up with that. So, but like I said, Baylor's always a tough game. That's always competitive. And we only play them once this year, so don't have to worry about them again until March, which kind of leads me to my second thing. Audie said after the Baylor game that you don't want to be a monster in January. You want to be a monster in March. I'd rather you be a monster the whole season. Especially if you're going to have that statement and then play the game that you did against Cincinnati, which coming off an emotional physical loss at home against, Baylor, I don't want to say it was a letdown spot because the Cincinnati team is awful and we should win that game every time anyway. But I mean, you hear a comment like that, you have kind of a poor game against Baylor where you don't really see the ball in the second half because they double you the whole time. It was just kind of a recipe for disaster, in my opinion.
How would you grade Fenway so far this year?
14-2, beat Iowa, went down to Florida and won that tournament. Probably a B+ or an A-. But the last two games to me have been like a D-.
Yeah, because you would think I would assume if you take care of if a loss to Baylor, sure, fine, you don't love it, it's on your home court.
Right.
But thinking about Cincinnati, if they take care of business there, you would probably tell me that he's coaching at an A-.
Yeah, for sure.
I saw somewhere, which I don't know where these lines exist, that Iowa State was minus 22.5 at Cincinnati.
Yeah, it was
they lost
22,
outright by 10.
It was 22.5, and then it got announced that Addie Brown was out, and I think it went to 17.5. So call that what you will. But yeah, I mean that's as miserable of an F game as you could have, the Cincinnati game. You guys were talking about schedules earlier, like who the Oklahoma State men have played. Have you guys seen the Cincinnati women's schedule?
I mean, they have 5 wins. I don't like.
They have 5.
They're 6-10 now after beating us. Their wins are Georgetown, Kentucky, Canisius, Alabama A&M, New Mexico by 3, and UNLV. It gets better, Sean. Their losses. They started the year with a loss to Lehigh. Penn State, St. Joseph's, Ball State by 20, Miami, Ohio, Xavier, and Howard, all in the non-con. Then lost to Oklahoma State by 28 and Kansas by 27 and Colorado by 21 or by 11, excuse me. And we went in there and lost by 8.
This has to be the worst loss in the history of the program, right?
I wanted to check that, and I have 3 games since I've been covering women's basketball that I would compare this to. All 3 of them were tournament games, so it depends on how much you weigh the season ending. But we lost to 10 seed Creighton as a 3 seed to make the Elite 8. That was 2022. We lost to Toledo in the 12 versus 5 game the year after that in 2023 after winning the Big 12 tournament. And we lost to Missouri State in the tournament, Ashley Jones's freshman year, 69-60. Bridget Carlton had 31 of our 60 points. Those are the only 3 since 2019 that I would think are even close to this one, and this one still might be worse.
So no one is calling him Big Game Bill, I'm guessing.
No. I'm not.
Who said quad 6 loss? Damn.
I mean, you lose to a team that lost to Howard. I mean, that
is very damning for seeding. Like,
yeah.
Hey, did Don Maker's brother go there or something crazy like that?
Yeah.
I have no idea. They beat New Mexico by 3. I mean, that's
the conference games make it
Correct.
worse. Like
Correct.
20, like the 20-point losses, and then 11
yeah.
to
So
Colorado.
we play Oklahoma State next, or West Virginia next, and West Virginia is another team that's always given us fits with their defense. So
does Bill? I'm fascinated by this. Casual women's fan here.
Yeah.
First of all, happy International Women's Day. Sorry. Bill to me, like, I feel like I hear about this once or twice a year where people just go, "What are you doing?" And it happens. Yeah. It does feel like it happens on a regular occurrence. If you're able to come up with those losses, like, those feel less excusable watching from the shower. You're welcome. First of all, Matthias, happy International Women's Day.
I'm glad you're washing.
Yeah.
At least I hope you're washing. You might just have the water on.
Yeah. He's the sad in the shower gif, just pounding the wall.
He could just be hammering beers too. That would also rock halftime of the game. No, it's not.
Anyways, back to Bill. So David, he's been with Iowa State for 20 plus years, right?
Yeah.
Been to the Elite Eight a couple times, Sweet 16 times. He's been there for so long that you could put him on the Mount Rushmore of Iowa State coaches. I'm sure he belongs up there.
Yeah.
Why does it feel like this happens so often? And does he ever speak on what he thinks the problem is? Like, do you feel like we get an answer from him when this seems to happen with some kind of regular occurrence?
No, and I'll go even more into that here. So last year, this team was 1-8 or 1-9 in quad one games. That included a 40-point loss to South Carolina and a 33-point loss to UConn in the non-con. And we didn't beat a single ranked team last year until Kansas State at home in the second to last game of the year without their best player. So it just, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's specifically this team, because the better teams know how to defend Audie. Because I mean, even last year, she had her way with a lot of teams, but last year it was you beat every team that's worse than you by 20, and you lost to every team better than you by 20, is what it seemed like last year. So I never really feel like we get a straight answer, and I don't know exactly why that seems to be the case in all the big games. You want to put them that way. And I thought maybe we turned a corner beating Iowa this year, because I think Iowa is a good team. They're top 15, and I think they will be all year this year in the women's game. But clearly something has not been turned if you're going to lose to Baylor and then get that game against Cincinnati. We were lucky to lose that game by 8. I mean, they led the whole way.
I thought this year would be different. I think the past 3 years I've watched more women's games as each year's gone by, but because of the guard defense that we have now with Jada, with Jackson, Abby does a great job as well. We have another girl, I don't quite remember her name. Very good defense at the guard level, which is huge when we have Audie as our post. And then also all these people can make 3-point shots as well. Yep. Jada can create for other players. I was like, this is a complete team. You have a lot of things to do. And I think that goes a long way in the women's bracket. But these two losses, it's just tough, because I think there's a lot of hype. Like you said, you beat Iowa, you went down to Florida, you won that tournament. The ball was rolling, and now we're kind of stopped for a bit. And not at all, season's over.
Right.
But I think it's heartbreaker at home to Baylor, and then Cincinnati. You got to find a way to win that if you want to make an Elite Eight. If you want to make Sweet 16 with this team, all these juniors on this roster, you only got 2 years left with these girls.
Yep.
You got to be able to win these games, and you made last year, not being a rake opponent till the second to last game without their best player. I think we got to find a way for these girls to step up a little bit in the bigger moments.
Yeah. Do you guys remember the Jaron Holmes Ocean year where the men kind of tailed off like this towards the end? It kind of feels like some of those, you have a really deflating loss, and the next game, you haven't really recovered from it. It could just be that, you can still recover from it, or you don't. It just depends on, it's nice that it's happening early. We're talking about this on January 8th, not, March 6th going down to Kansas City. So.
Yeah, so this kind of core group as freshmen, when you look at Audie Crooks, Addie Brown, Ariana Jackson, who hopefully will be okay. I know she left the game against Cincinnati with a leg injury, and we're supposed to get some information on that here this week. But as freshmen, this team, after coming off a win against number 4 Baylor, lost to Texas Tech, beat TCU on a forfeit because TCU didn't have enough players, then lost to Kansas, lost to West Virginia, lost to UCF, and lost to Oklahoma, all within a 5-game stretch. And then kind of came back. They beat Kansas State that year, and then eventually lost in the Big 12 tournament to Texas in the championship game. So this team's not unfamiliar with lulls and with losing, conference games in a stretch. You just don't expect it to happen to a Cincinnati team that's 5-10 on the year and hasn't been within double digits of a conference team.
Well, and I would even say this also is happening on January 7th or 6th or whatever it was, right? Like you could say towards the end of the year, like, oh, we got tired legs, we just need a break, that kind of thing. Like you don't even have that excuse. You just got done with Christmas break, basically.
Right. And
this
that
might
was
be the worst spot for it
Because
because the team is gelled. There's no more gelling. Like you could fix like a player here and there in the rotation for minutes, but the team is gelled. It's January 8th right now. And it's not the February, like, oh, this is brutal. We played so many games. And it's not March where people have figured it out. This is the worst spot to kind of play these back-to-back games right now.
Yeah. And like I said, it doesn't get any easier. You're playing a West Virginia team that's giving you fits. They're 13-3 on the year. They beat Duke in the non-con. Now, I don't think Duke's as good as they were to start the year. I don't think they're as good as they were hyped up to be in the offseason. But that's still a 13-3 West Virginia team that played Texas Tech tough. Texas Tech, the only unbeaten team left in the Big 12 now. So, I mean, you're still not in a great spot playing a West Virginia team that's giving you trouble.
I want to make sure you get through all your talking points first, because I do have one question.
Yeah. I've basically said my piece. I mean, the biggest thing to me was Tom talked about that sort of that clip going around the Audie Crooks defensive lowlights against Cincinnati. My biggest thing, the first 2 instances of that is in the first 4 minutes of the game. I mean, you're not tired at 4 minutes into the game. You can't be tired 4 minutes into the game. I mean, that's effort. That's want to be there. And I get it. You're coming off an emotional loss. Addie Brown's not in the game. You're on the road. It's a, Sunday to Wednesday turnaround on the road. But I mean, you have got to be better than just standing there and letting somebody drive past you for a layup. And you're 4 minutes into the game.
And the thing that the whiplash of this week was you get Cincinnati, and then you've got Pat McAfee putting together his little highlight package and song of her. And then that lowlights video was dropped literally the next day because someone clearly was like, I just felt like the timing was a little bit suspicious.
Well, and now like, you're moving forward and you don't know about Ariana Jackson, who, like Tom said, that's probably your best perimeter defender. And you're already struggling defensively to stop a team like Cincinnati. And teams are starting to expose your best player on defense, or your best offensive player on defense in Audie Crooks. And now you might be without your best perimeter defender. And that's not a spot where this team wants to be in at all, or any team wants to be in. So it's a home game at the very least. So, you've got that going for you, and you've got, a couple home games here moving forward. And I think the Big 12's down a little bit this year. Kansas State's not what they have been the last couple of years. Texas Tech's better than expected. Utah's a little bit down. BYU's, a little up, but not too bad for us. And you get all those teams once. You get Texas Tech once, you get TCU once, you get Baylor once. So, the season's not over by any means, but this is a really rough time to have that lull. And especially with Ariana Jackson being up and down with her injury now, it's not where you want to be.
What an uplifting way to end.
Yeah.
I'm really just really not quite sure where we go from here. And honestly,
I said, you got 2 ranked teams left on the schedule. So, you can look at that 2 ways. Either one, you don't have any opportunities to sort of prove yourself out of this. But also, every game here is winnable. Every game in here could be a W by the end of the year. And then, you're looking at, maybe you drop a couple of them and you're looking at 25-5 or something, or 24-5. That's still a good year. That's still a year that you're probably a top 4 seed hosting in the NCAA tournament.
That's my question.
So I think that's an important thing to get to also. is hosting those first two rounds. But I think you're kind of in an up in the air spot here now with that.
So I have, and first and foremost, thanks for jumping on and educating us common folk about the women, because the buzz has been palpable. We're hearing about it all the time. They have looked apart for the majority of the season until these last two games, so it's been interesting to watch. My question for you, and something that I've been seeing online a majority of this season, especially when her Audie's highlights in general have been going viral for a multitude of reasons, they seem to leave her on an island for the most part. And the response, and my question is, why aren't they doubling? And now, I know the face value answers, because you've got 40% and 50% three-point shooters that are sprinkled around her. My question for you is that less common? Do we see that less in the women's game because they're not covering space as quickly? Or is it genuinely because we've got snipers just littered around the floor?
I think it is partially the second option of that, because you do have, the one time that I know the big one was the Kansas game. They were showing, Kansas coaching is terrible because they had left on an island the whole game. The one time that a defender came down was at the end of the game and Kenzie Hare hit the buzzer beater. So, there is that sense to it. I do also think that, you're not covering that ground as quickly. And so, when you do double and you're not a Baylor that's got super long, athletic, forward and tall guards that can do that, you do kind of put yourself in a bad situation. Now, Baylor did kind of give you the key, is if you're going to let Jada be the one to shoot 17 threes. Now, Cincinnati didn't do that. But they've got a little size down low that Audie just can't muscle through 100 possessions in a row. And, you saw that with just by the shooting percentage. I mean, Fennelly joked that he hadn't seen that many missed layups since he went to his grandson's game. And that's true. I was at work on Wednesday night and joked that we missed like 46 layups or something in that game. I mean, it was just bad up and down. But, I think she'll get back to that if she gets one-on-one moving forward. I mean, that was her worst shooting game of the season, and it was 47%. So
unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. So like I said, I think generally this team will be fine. I think you kind of ran into just an awful spot here with, you come off of all the hype tapes and all the Pat McAfee stuff and all like this Audie Crooks gal, she's got more points and minutes on the year, which is still true. But I mean, you get that big emotional loss to Baylor. You're now down Addie Brown for a game. You're not sure about Ariana Jackson now. You're just kind of in a question mark spot. And I think this team's good enough to just kind of will their way out of it. But we'll have to see that against West Virginia on Sunday.
Awesome. Well, David, thanks for joining us. That's going to do it here for our Thursday night show. I think we need to come up with a name for the show. I was thinking Hoopy Hour instead of Happy Hour, but that sounds like Poopy Hour. So I think we want to stay with that. We'll have to workshop what this name looks like, because we're going to stick with offensively offensive for our Sunday nights for sure. There will be days when it'll just be the three of us plus guests, like the gracious David was today. So something to keep in mind. This is not something we're opening up to comments either. I don't want to see which direction.
I do want to see what you would name it though. I do want to see the comments. Like what would the audience name it? But we're gonna name it. Maybe if let's like something good.
If we do end up with a name that happened to be a comment, we clearly had it first. But
yes, we reserve the right to say we were first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sean, that's why Mike Florio said that Brock Purdy can't be a franchise quarterback, because Purdy's too close to Turdy for him. So,
such a smart thing for him to say.
Yeah, very, very intelligent.
Yeah.
Analytics. All right. I appreciate you guys for hopping on. We'll be back again next Thursday. You can find Nate and Tom and I Sunday nights. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. And as always, go Cyclones.